All right. Hello and welcome to a special edition of FI Live. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button on the bottom of your YouTube channel and also on LinkedIn. All that good stuff. So like, comment, and share our content. It makes a huge difference. We'd like to hear your feedback and answer to any of our questions. And so make sure to comment and share your observations during the live stream as well. It's been a while, but we are here today live, and we are going to bring all the best insights from Natural Products Expo West 2024 show in Anaheim.
Ying adds.
Yeah, it's been a whirlwind, a lot of things to cover, a lot of hottest trends, newest products, the most interesting observations. It will all happen today on this live stream. So let's go ahead and meet our guests.
Ying adds 20 years of experience in factoring and commercial finance to her role as SVP, Director of Business Development. Since joining Rosenthal in 2017, Ying has been responsible for expanding the client base, with a particular focus on growing the firm's West Coast footprint. In addition to her focus in asset-based lending and factoring, Ying is responsible for growing Rosenthal's purchase order financing division, Rosenthal Trade Capital. Anouck Gotlib, CEO of Belgian Boys, is on a mission to create whole ingredient foods with a European twist so families can prep less, smile more, and indulge better. Their products are in more than 8,000 stores and online. She leads a passionate team dedicated to growing more than just a revenue-driven business. Anouck was named an Ernst & Young Winning Woman in 2021 and has been featured in publications such as Forbes, NASDAQ, and Business Insider. Joseph Chen is the founder and CEO of Leo & Dragon, a foresight and insight management consulting firm. He specializes in consumer and shopper behavior data across global markets in the food and beverage industries. He has conducted research projects for numerous companies such as McDonald's, Kroger, Dole, LVMH, and Unilever. Prior to starting his own firm, Joseph spent 18 years on both the client and agency sides.
All right, so super excited to be talking to these industry experts. We have perspectives from all different parts of the CPG world. So let's get today's conversation started, and let's talk about the show itself. Expo West 2024 is the largest show in North America. We go to a lot of shows here at the Food Institute, and this is definitely the biggest and probably the most influential show of the year. And so maybe, Ying, please share with us your thoughts on the show itself this year compared to last year.
Thanks, Brian. I can say that of all the shows I've attended, Expo West continues to be one of the most exciting, innovating, and just robust shows. And that was felt last week with the number of attendees, the number of exhibitors. So really had a great turnout and very excited about the future of food and bev and CPG industry in general.
You've been exhibiting at Expo West for a number of years. How does this show compare to previous years? What was different about this year from your perspective?
Yeah, I mean, it was number 8 for me this year. Expo West number 8, so definitely years to, I would say, compare it to. The energy was just there. I think people were just in a good mood, coming back from 2 years of COVID and last year there was a lot of financial uncertainty during Expo West. You had that banking crash at Expo West in 2023. So I think people were just happy to be here. Lots of the big trends that we have seen like in the last couple of years, I felt like this year were just like good vibes, good people, and good food, and lots of innovation as well. So I was definitely excited and happy to be a part of it. I'm energized, a bit tired, but energized coming back from it.
Great. And Joseph, what about as a consultant, you've obviously been to a number of these shows. Was there anything that you'd like to highlight for this 2024 show, Expo West?
Yeah, for sure. Like another fantastic show. Yeah, great energy. I love the creative spirit. My takeaway from this year, there's definitely an evolution of themes that I saw from last year. I think we're gonna touch on some of these topics like regenerative, like protein, like gut health, women's health. Like I see more of a amplification into different categories based on those exciting themes, but in a very creative twist. So excited to share some of the perspective. But yeah, another fantastic, amazing show that we had this year.
Yeah, so hats off to New Hope Network. A great show. I would definitely say that the energy was definitely there. I would say even greater than the previous 2 years. So excellent show. It is, I think, the must-attend show if you're in food and beverage. And I would say not just for the CPG space, but even from a trend-setting perspective, like if you're in food service, if you're in other parts of the industry, you want to know what products are coming down the pike, you have to be at Expo West. And so one of the things I wanted to kind of get your opinions on is in previous years, there were in general some key themes, and 2 years ago or even 3 years ago, it was all plant-based. A year before that was CBD. Last year, a lot of the talk was around SVB and what happened in the financial sector. This year, I didn't really get a sense that there was one major theme or category that was a breakout. So just wanted to open it up. Anouck, maybe we'll start off with you. Would you agree with that, or maybe you can kind of share your perspective?
Yes, I would agree with that. And again, I think my perspective is mostly like staying at our booth. So I didn't get a chance to walk like the whole show and really seeing that, but just talking to a lot of people that have. I've seen, we'll probably talk a lot about that as well, but a lot of international cuisine, just flavors from different places in the world seem to really resonate as a trend with the American consumer, from sauces to condiments, like everything you need to build a meal. I think it was, if I could say one trend, I would say it was more meal oriented, like things to make the meal than snacking, which we've seen also in previous years. So I think that's one observation, like food, right? Which seems obvious we need, but yeah.
Well, that's an interesting perspective. Anouck, one follow-up question for you. Did you find that in this year's show, were there a greater attendance of like buyers, and what types of folks went to your booth compared to previous years? Anything that you could share there?
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely seen everyone I wanted to see, my team as well. We come very prepared. When you go as an exhibitor to Expo West, it's very easy to, after the show, say, because there's so much energy and so much buzz, it's very easy to say, oh yeah, it was a great show, right? But like, was it actually? So an exercise that me and my team do is like, what is success at Expo? And we do that ahead of Expo West. So we were like, everyone goes in and say, these are my top 5 priorities for this show. And I want to say that literally everyone in our team checked off their list. Most of it is meeting this person, missing that person. So from buyers to retailers to category managers, for our sales team, they were very, very happy with attendance overall.
That's great. And Ying, going back to the theme of, was there a major breakout theme in 2024? Anything that you'd like to highlight?
I think I would tend to agree with you that there isn't necessarily a dominant breakout theme. What I can say is there's a continuation of focus on brands that are promoting better for you, a little bit of indulgence. So it's a convergence of both to cater towards consumers today who want to focus on their health and wellness, but they don't necessarily have the time to make a complete meal, for example. So they want something that's on the go, easy to prepare, but know that they're not doing their body a disservice and they're adding to their nutritional intake of the day by, grabbing onto these brands that are really educating people like us for eating better, whether that is, more protein or get all your grains in, gut health, or which would lead to, as we all know now, brain health. So these are type of things that I see as a continued theme that I ran across throughout the show.
Great. And how about you, Joseph? Anything to add there?
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. Like, I think I see a lot more like comfort, like nostalgia, like things that people are sort of grew up with, familiar with. So we definitely continue to see a lot of the sort of innovation, like format in that area. but definitely with more a twist, like more the nutritional twist with protein, gut health that Lynn just mentioned. One thing that I didn't notice that is a bit different this year is like we are seeing less of keto. So anything that's like really keto focused, we saw tons of that in 2020, 2021, but I didn't see as much this year.
And why is that, Joseph? Why do you think that keto isn't on trend in 2024?
I think consumers are starting to wanting to be more balanced. I think consumer moving towards more having that more balanced, holistic view in terms of the diet. So I think they're probably moving away on and also there's some negative perception around keto in terms of the type of sweetener that's used. So there's that transparency aspect, but I think consumers are just willing to balance with some sugar actually in their overall holistic diet.
Yeah, very, very, very interesting. I would sort of define 2024 as being like a refinement on previous year trends. Anouck, did you want to chime in there a little bit, or?
No, I think to what Ying said also, it's like that going back to comforting foods, like things that make you feel good, right? And bringing what Joseph said, that balance, right? Like I want to eat food that is convenient to make and taste good. Oh, see, even this Google agrees with me, but like food that's easy to make, because I do not have time to go and make a pasta sauce from scratch, right? Like, but I want to eat a pasta sauce that's going to taste like it was made from scratch, right? So how can brands innovate and give me that same quality with great ingredients for a fraction of the time for me to spend in the kitchen? And I think that it's that time that, from COVID, just this habit that stays is I want to have time to spend with my family around the table, not in the kitchen, and just how was your day, right? And that's something that the consumer is longing for. So brands that going to stand out are going to be brands that find solutions for that. Great food in a convenient prep or on the go setting.
Right, 100% agree. I love what you said, Anouck, that consumers want almost everything in one product, right? They don't want to go and buy 5 different products for 5 different need states. They want one product that tastes good, that's convenient, which is a huge mega trend that we've been covering here at the Food Institute, and that's a tall order, right?
Yeah.
For companies to have hit on all of those categories. It's a tall order, and that's one of the other things that I wanted to bring up in 2024 is that the quality, the taste, the texture in general was at a higher par this year. A lot of the kind of average or not as good, they're still good, but not. I didn't see as many of those types of products. And so, even in this sort of environment where a lot of companies and leaders are somewhat worried about where the economy might be going or inflation, to see the level and quality that was there at Expo West was definitely an encouragement that I would wanted to share, with here on this live stream. I wanted to drill down onto some of the major themes as it relates to different category trends. Now, I don't know about you guys. It seemed like every single aisle, every single hall, it was about protein, right? When you have protein chips, whether it was, protein-packed pasta, dry pasta. I know it was the Protein Plus Barilla. They had that at the show. Kodiak cakes, protein-packed, pancakes. Why? So what's going on here? Wanted to open it up to why are consumers, why are companies so focused on protein? Joseph, we'll start off with you.
Yeah, no, I think consumer, they know protein is good for them. They want to have more protein in their diet, and I think a lot of companies are just becoming I just see so much creativity in terms of how brands are helping consumer get more protein in the diet, but in a more nostalgic, comforting snack or meal formats. And this year, I have seen some really interesting product innovation, like the unicorn tots. They actually have this potato tots with 20 grams of lentil and quinoa tots, which, by the way, is really delicious. And also I find like some of the other comforting like Asian like snacks like ramen. So you get like 18 grams of protein per serving from this like ramen Shiyu premium. It's actually made with non-fried yellow pea noodles. Super delicious. So I think like manufacturers just coming up with all these like very innovative and creative ideas to really get protein into consumers' diets.
Right. Anouck, anything you would want to share there?
No, I mean, from our brand, we're not participating in that trend, right? I think it's look at our ingredients. Sure, there's protein in there. It's not really much a call out that we make. So I can't say I have a lot of value add on that question.
Okay. And how about you, Ying? Any insights on why consumers and the industry is really focused on kind of protein? And I would even maybe broaden that to energy.
Yeah, I think that as a non-industry insider, but purely from a consumer perspective, kind of like what Joseph said, the importance of protein has been drilled into consumers over the last few years. When I was pregnant with my third child, I was diagnosed with gestational diabetes. So the nutritionist I worked with definitely drilled into me that it's important to take protein with any sort of carbs or sugar to really help your body. So I think brands are listening to that and trying to add to the convenience and factor by adding ingredients such as protein to their products so that it provides multifunction to their existing lines of category. And I definitely saw partnerships with other brands that may be bringing the protein side of things to their existing products that I thought made a lot of sense.
Great. Another area where, and Anouck kind of brought this up in her previous comments, and just the influence of international flavors and cuisines. It seemed like this year, as I was walking the show floors, 2 international cuisines really kind of like jumped out at me compared to last year. One was Korean, so Asian in general, but Korean types of products. So there was a frozen kimbap product that was had the Korean, but also made it very convenient. It's very difficult. My wife and I we tried making kimbap. It takes a long time, right? And so that was something interesting, and also Indian cuisine. There were countless exhibitors with sauces, with even sort of like Americanized flavor. So for example, like a butter chicken type of sauce. It was there was one company that sweetened it a little bit to adapt to an American palate. And so I'll open it up to the group here. Do you agree that was international cuisine is something that was really represented well in this year's show? Any other types of international flavors that you guys wanted to highlight?
Yeah, I definitely kimbap is the star. I find like it's almost every hall that you go to, there's some kimbap type of product out there. And then boba, I find like there's the boba is another thing that I'm seeing like from a sort of more Asian snack perspective, like tend to be more a food service type of offering, but now we sort of expand across different like CPG like drinks formats. I also see like continuation of a lot of different dumplings like bao, like northern like Chinese or Taiwanese type of like snacks. The other piece I also see a lot is the like chilies. So more like crispy chilies. There's like a lot of really innovative brands like coming up with a really interesting fusion flavor. This one brand called like Sauce Up NYC. They have this like white truffle chilies crisp that I thought was super interesting, really elevated and really tasty.
Yeah, definitely. I've tried a lot of dumplings as well. Dumpling Daughters had an amazing dumpling. And then you say the chili crisp, I think, I've seen a lot of Mexican cuisine as well, and Somos with their salsa matcha. I mean, they really nailed it. They also have an Americanized version, to your point, the one with the pineapple, I think. So outstanding product there. And also in beverage, right? I think Chai Diaries does the chais really well. So really seeing, and I couldn't say that I have to make a shameless plug here, but European cuisine with Belgian boys. I mean, we have our puffertjes that were great and our Belgian waffles. I mean, I gotta give ourselves a plug too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And Ying, how about you? In terms of international cuisine, that you any kind of niche areas that you'd want to highlight during this live stream?
I think that's probably one of the most exciting part for me personally, to explore the international flavors. I think that U.S. consumers are no longer afraid of different flavors outside of what they grew up with. So you're seeing a lot of combination of strong flavor profile, whether that is Mexican flavors, Asian flavors, Southeast. And as well as, I mean, if I can hang out at Somo's booth and just have their tacos with their salsa matcha, I will be happy all day. So I agree with you, Anouck, on that. And then I would like to wash it down with some, some chai along with one or two Belgian waffles. So these are all great, indulgent but exciting flavor profiles that I think there's an uptick in demand for that. So I expect that that's going to be an ongoing trend. Salted egg is a favorite profile that I grew up with. And when I discovered Irwin's salmon chips flavor with that at my local Costco, and then finding their booth at Expo West, that was a very exciting moment for me. So definitely into the international flavors.
Right, excellent. And so the next one I wanted to just touch upon and get your thoughts. I thought that there were some interesting partnerships or influencer / CPG partnerships this year. It was more strategic. I think in the past, like we've seen kind of the Beyond Meat, the Kim Kardashian sort of sponsorship, but now the partnerships and the brands are becoming much more strategic. There was that water company that partnered with Aaron Judge of the New York Yankees. So like him being a performance athlete, and hydration, it just made a lot of sense, right? And even companies, partnering with each other, that was something that's I thought that was really strategic as well. I'll open it up to the group here. Is that something that we'll likely continue to see? And maybe Anouck, like I'd love to get your thoughts as a manufacturer. Is this something that from an influencer or sort of like a partnership perspective that you think that we'll likely to see, and maybe even for Belgian boys?
I think it's something that we'll likely continue to see for sure, because some brands have had huge success with it. And I think some influencers and celebrities are seeing that others are having huge success with it. So why not continue? I think for a brand, where on the flip side, right, like a brand like us that is not industry like influencer backed, or we do not have a celebrity, like how do you compete with those in terms of the attention, right? Like I do not have 5 billion followers on my personal Instagram, right? And so how do you compete? I think it's very important that it's when you do it well, and it is truly aligned with the celebrity that is backing your brand versus just another celebrity endorsement, because I do think that the consumer will see right through it. Celebrities endorse a lot of brands, and it needs to be a fit from knowing that celebrity and what their habits is, why they're truly passionate. You mentioned that hydration and water. If it's an athlete, like what is the fit? Why is the fit there? And I do think that brands need to be cautious where some celebrities do get canceled sometimes, and that when you align with a celebrity or influencer, your consumers all of a sudden associate you with that. And that is something that you need to be mindful when you go into the partnership as well. So that's kind of my take on it. At the end of the day, you need to bring your brand to life, whether you do that with your internal team or have to bring in someone external to elevate that reach.
Great. Ying or Joseph, anything you'd want to add on strategic partnerships or influencer-backed brands?
Yeah.
I 1000% agree with Anouck's insight. It's such a double-edged sword. It's fantastic when you have a partnership with an influencer or celebrity that can really elevate your brand awareness. But on the flip side, consumers nowadays can fish out if it's not authentic. So if a celebrity is not truly using a product or truly passionate about this product, they're just another face, and that could really, backfire. So having true partnerships that really speaks to the brand's messaging, the type of community that the brand is targeting, is so important. If that celebrity is not part of that community, it's such a glaring, obvious gap. As far as other partnerships I noticed at the show that I thought was very interesting, and kind of touched on a little bit earlier, is when you have two brands that really partner together, that really combined provide some multifunctional offerings. So something I noticed I really liked was a company called Blender Bite, where they provide pre-proportioned frozen cubes that you can make smoothies out of that gives you functional support. They partner with a product with Orgain, so that adds little functionality of protein that Orgain is known for to bring to mass market. So I thought that was a very smart move to have two brands coming together, serving, sometimes similar target audience.
Great. And before we continue, I did want to mention Rosenthal as our sponsor. Just a few words on Rosenthal. Rosenthal is the country's largest privately held factor and finance firm. It's a third-generational family-owned business, and they have more than 85 years of industry experience. They specialize in providing personalized service, credit protection, flexible lending to small and medium-sized clients across a broad range of industries, with loans ranging from $500,000 to $30 million. For more information, please visit rosenthalinc.com. And so just to continue on the theme of other I would say emphasized trends, even though they're not breakout trends, regenerative movement. Now, when I went to the organic tent area, it seemed like every other exhibitor had that label, regenerative, certified organic. This was much more prevalent this year than last year. And I think part of the reason is the education around regenerative is becoming more pronounced, right? Mm-hmm. So it's very difficult to really understand the requirements. It's difficult, to actually be truly regenerative. And so that's one of the other things I just wanted to highlight here. I'll open it up to the group here. What's really happening? Why is this focus on regenerative being such a key focus this year as opposed to previous years? Joseph.
Yeah, I think there's definitely I really see the regenerative definitely being manifested much more prominently this year. We see the whole regenerative into different categories, from soy-free teriyaki sauce I saw from the Big Tree. And also into even when you think about kelp burgers or different type of chia seeds, beans. So I find there's definitely more education, people becoming more familiar with it, but it's probably still what organic was 10 or 15 years ago. I think there's still a lot more education need to be in place, but I think there's definitely more interest in terms of understanding soil health or biodiversity. So it's really exciting to see. I definitely are super excited to see the evolution of it. Yeah.
Great. Anouck or Ying, anything you'd want to add on regenerative or organic?
I know when I was chatting with one of our clients who had the label on their package to be regenerative organic certified, his comment was that is their number one innovation right now in the market. And agreeing with Joseph that it is a little behind on the organic side of things, where we learned when it was first introduced, and now it's so prominent throughout the grocery stores and where we shop for, shelf stable products. As far as the movement itself, it kind of goes in line with people that are more interested in climate change, in environmental awareness. So the whole idea of regenerative farming, as an example of preserving the topsoil, focusing on biodiversity, making sure that the farmers that are producing these crops that our brands are using into their final product are, thinking about looking into investing into that different category. It's a really different mindset at the end of the day. And for many companies, they have to think about, well, what is my return? What is the ROI? Well, if it's going to take time to educate the masses on the importance of regenerative, organic, certified anything, then I have to start with, can my brand actually sustain itself if we were to dive into this movement? So it's really about, are you truly caring about the way you source your products? And if so, how do you make sure that it's going to be commercially viable as well at the same time?
Yeah, absolutely. And shifting on to the next topic of just in terms of like the companies and the investing world. So coming off the heels of SBB, obviously there was a ton of concern last year with early stage brands being able to really take advantage of capital markets. One of the things that I noticed as I was having conversations with multiple exhibitors, the need for companies to have a path to financial sustainability and even profitability. And Anouck, being one of the breakout kind of brands over the past several years, being able to scale at the rate that you have, you represent one of the brands that you probably get a lot of inquiry on investing into Belgian boys. And so, what can you tell us in terms of the as a manufacturer of a CPG brand, what are the conditions for getting investment or loans? How do you feel about this year versus kind of previous years?
Yeah, I think definitely, like everyone wants profitability. Like that is the question that investors start to ask brands. I think it's not easy, right, for brands. And looking at that other side, it's super important for investors to be able to have that open conversations with brands, where 2 years ago it was grow at all cost, right? And so being okay with understanding that you can have grow at all cost and profitability and sustainability, and like the list that investors ask is someone just not feasible for brands or not feasible in 2 months to achieve, right? So really having brands that have a thoughtful process of, here's where I want to get and here's how I'm going to get to it, right? I think is where brand will succeed and excel from an investor perspective. But at the end of the day, I think, yes, financial sustainability is absolutely important, and investors are looking for that. But I mean, to everyone I've spoken to, investors are looking for great brands that make great food, that have great people running it. And I don't think that, profitable and amazing star companies, if they sell food that people don't buy and have bad people running it, like I don't think that that's what they're going to go either, right? So still brands need to still focus on building outstanding brands that make a great quality product in CPG. What I observed, I think, is as well is going into this show, you heard a lot about, well, there's no capital, people are not investing, etc. Brands have no capital to invest in their brands, Expo West, etc. I saw an industry that's booming. I saw brands that invested in booths, right? There were not a lot of just tabletop, tablecloth kind of booths. Like brands spent money on showing up and representing their brands. And I think that was a nice sight to see, just an industry having overcome quite some challenges. When you think about like where we were with COVID, supply chain crises, I think you see also an understanding industry where buyers have understood some of the challenges that suppliers were facing in the last 18, 24 months, mostly on supply chain, and investors that are understanding that rebuilding that supply chain after the massive shock that it had will take some times, right? Like that is just table stakes for right now.
Yeah, wise words. And Ying, as someone who represents an alternative finance company, you get a lot of requests for financial assistance and loans and different types of alternative financing options. What have you been seeing this year compared to previous years?
Agree with Anouck was saying, and it's music to lenders' ears to hear when an operator is really in touch with their business and fundamentally, what is your end goal? I think being profitable and growing are everyone's end goals, but how to get there has changed quite a bit. You may not want to grow as fast because you don't want to sacrifice your margins. You don't want to sacrifice your profitability, and you also don't want to sacrifice your brand equity as well, for the sake of pursuing top line growth. For us, we've always emphasized on the strength of the operators behind the numbers, but at the same time, we're looking at the financials to see, as Brian, you said, is there a clear path to profitability? And the onus is on the brand to do everything, as Anouck have mentioned as well. But now we're seeing that some of the brands that have invested during the peak of COVID crisis, where they have sustained losses, now they're going to break even, where they're going to show profit. And at the same time, the buyers are coming back because they have a strong product that are continue to be repurchased. So all of these are metrics that we look at from a lender's perspective. Now that we're a year into the anniversary of the banking collapse, I think that there's capital that are there. They're waiting. People are looking for the right investments. I've certainly spoke to many brands that have now access to bank financing as well that are very robust. And for Rosenthal, we are incredibly busy looking at opportunities for companies that are, at a point where they can really hit that growth mark in a sustainable way, but just need that additional capital to get there. I think there's a lot of lenders out there who are excited about the industry and looking to deploy capital.
Yeah, and I want to put you on the spot here, Ying. When you say path to profitability, what does that mean? 2 years to financial sustainability? Is it 5 years? Or what? Can you provide some parameters in terms of what exactly does that mean?
Sure. I think that it's, there's no set hard black and white rule when it comes to how long it takes to profitability. What company needs to focus on is what exactly lenders like myself will focus on is, what does your cash flow look like? If you were to get an opportunity with, let's say, a Costco, Walmart, how are you going to finance, or how are you going to execute on that new initiative or additional incremental business without sustaining additional losses? Is there a model to be had, for example, to scale? So if we were to look at the historical performance and understand how the company has been trending, whether it's operational efficiencies, of course, profit margin, whatever those may be, or is that going to continue? Is the trend going to improve? Now, if the trend is going to improve, but they're still showing losses, we can understand that, because that means that as they continue to execute on their plan, they will be profitable as long as there's business to be had. But if the trend is not there, if we're seeing some really big fluctuations, or we're really seeing that the margin is going to go down, but the operating cost is going to increase, then that is a concerning trend where we're going to question the thesis on the their projections, for example.
Thank you. Yeah, that's helpful. And Joseph, I want to kind of bring a new angle here, because you work with some of the largest CPG companies, right? And so how do they think about ROI and investing in new types of products, whether it's an acquisition or whether it's an internal organic sort of new type of project? Has the calculus changed for big CPG when it comes to product innovation and investing in those innovations?
Yeah, I see a lot of the big companies are still focusing on having more organic innovation internally. They're definitely still looking out for some potential partnership and acquisition. But I do see that they're a bit more cautious in terms of how they go to market, and to really want to make sure that they are putting the innovation is going to have a decent margin, and the margin is definitely sort of the key for a lot of the big companies that I'm working with. And also they want to make sure that there's going to be enough support to really make sure that the innovation is successful, because we've seen over the years there's a lot of innovation either launched for the first year and then they have to pull the innovation off the market because it doesn't have enough of the support ongoing to support the innovation. So I do see that companies are a bit more cautious to make sure that the innovation is going to be profitable and they're able to sustain to support the innovation.
Got it. That's wise words right there. And to close off this this conversation, I'm going to ask each of you for your top product. So I'm going to ask you to choose one product from the show that you were like, wow, this was something that's unique. And so that's the first question. The second, what was your one main takeaway from Expo West 2024? So that's more broad. And so Joseph, I'll start off with you, and then Ying, and then Anouck.
Yeah, so I actually have two favorite products. So yes, yeah. So my personal favorite is the Conscious Kimbap. Yeah, so that is, I think, the innovation from Conscious this year. Like really delicious. I also really like this new brand called like French Squirrel. They have this like peanut butter with dates. Again, like, you know, it's like a very, like, I just love the texture. There's no sugar added, but the only other like sweetened ingredient is actually the actual dates itself. So that's a super delicious product. I find that the overall holistic theme that I'm thinking of is on taste. I think there's all conversation that we talk about today. Like there's definitely like a lot of products that are actually at the expo this year. It's really more taste driven, which is really exciting. Like really compared to the, like, you know, when the perception about natural and organic consumer, there's tend to be a perception that like product might not taste good, but I find that this year there's definitely that improved taste or elevated taste that is really centered on this year's expo.
Okay, Ying, you're up next.
Well, obviously it's Belgian boys. But having said that, going to the savory side of things, I would have to say that Mari Mix, their gluten-free, crunchy snack was by far one of my favorites. I love their hatch green chili flavor. It really got me through the day as I was walking the show to get that little salty, indulgent pick-me-up. And another brand I have to shout out to is 8 Greens. To really provide enough nutrients for myself, they're kind of dietary supplement that's dissolved in water that, you know, gives you literally the name itself, the 8 different types of greens, veggies, was really a standout for me. Their lemon lime flavor made it taste really incredible, and it's good for you. And they have different forms, including tablets and gummies. And my favorite form for my kid would be the lollipop. So I would say those two were a standout besides Anouck's Belgian boys. In terms of what I think the industry overall, I think there's a lot of demand for products. I think there's a lot of elevation that our products have produced as well. The packaging game, the marketing, everything was just such a standout this year. It's really pleasing to my stomach as well as my eyes. So I really have to say I have a lot of positive and positive outcome that I took away from the show, and really expect more momentum to come from this industry in particular.
All right, Anouck.
My favorite product, I mean, I tried so many products. I have so many friends in the industry, but I'll give a shout out to Ali and Haven's Kitchen. Their aioli line is incredible. Not only does it taste good, I know how much Ali and her team worked on it. The chili bang bang is my favorite. Tastes really, really good, and it's so easy and convenient. Just put it on everything. And kudos for taking a line that's refrigerated and now introducing a line that's shelf stable, and really you got to taste it in those squeeze bottles. So a little plug here for Ali and her team. From a drink perspective, I am a big Spindrift fan. I drink it. I'm a big consumer, and I think their new flavor, the passion fruit, was really, really good. So I'm probably going to be buying that new flavor as well. And my favorite moment of the show, or something that stood out to me, was, and I was talking about it with my team, I think more than any show, and Belgian Voice has been doing Expo West for the last 8 years. I really loved how much brand love we got at the show from an exhibitor perspective. a lot of consumers came to our brand and said, I buy your brand. My kids are obsessed with your mini pancakes. You make my mornings easy. It was very cool to just have consumers come and introduce themselves and thanking us. And I was like, oh, wow. Well, I mean, 5 years ago, we were just 5 people. 4 years ago, in 2020, we were just 5 people running this startup and trying to figure it out. And the response to our innovation items. So we launched our chocolate chip bite-sized pancakes and griddle pancakes, just easy, convenient morning staples. And the response that we got from the industry exceeded expectations. So I will take that as the best thing of Expo for me.
Great, and I'll just add my 2 cents. One of the more innovative products that I saw was a company called Microsalt. So they basically powderize salt, so it's really refined. It almost looks like flour, but the idea is that the microsalt covers more surface area than traditional salt, so you don't need as much salt as part of from a flavoring perspective. And as someone who's trying to reduce sodium intake, that was music to my ears. I do have a sample from the show, so I'll give everyone a heads up once I try the product. And then in terms of my closing thoughts for Expo West, it was packed. So the amount of excitement around CPG is just there's no other show like it, and it gives me a lot of hope that there's a lot of investment potential, a lot of growth opportunities. Number 2, the competition is really at like A game, like to get the level of taste, the texture, the flavors, the innovation. My goodness, like I don't know if I would be able, if I started a CPG line, if I could compete with the likes of Anouck and Belgian boys. And it's just, it amazes me every day just to see just the level of innovation and passion that goes into this industry. And the last thing is, as we look out in the next 12 to 24 months, really on the topic of smart innovation, smart investing, right? So really being calculated. I love what Anouck said is when you're going to these shows, you already have a plan of who you want to meet, right? I think that's so strategic. Yes, it's very expensive to put on, to exhibit at Expo West. But if you're smart with your time, if you do a lot of that prep work, the ROI is tremendous, right? And so I really think that is a key aspect. And so that wraps up our show. And we're out of time. I want to thank Joseph Chen of Leo and Dragon, Anouck Gotlib, Belgian boys, Ying of Rosenthal, and Rosenthal. Thank you, Rosenthal, for being a sponsor. And don't forget to subscribe, like what we do. We're here to serve at the Food Institute, you guys, right? And so if we're doing something great, give us a thumbs up. If we can improve, let us know. Susan and I always want to improve the content of the Food Institute. So with that, thanks again for joining us. And we hope to see you again next time. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.